Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, this is Jeremy Smith. Today we're going to be taking a look at Profoto's B1 TTL high-speed sync compatible studio flash. And I've saved the best stand that I own to put this light on. Not long ago, we took a look at Phottix's Indra 500 light, which also has a lot of the same capabilities in terms of TTL and high-speed sync. And a lot of people had questions about that light, and we will be doing another video about that light in the future. Since then, I have actually purchased the Phottix Indra 360 light, which is basically the Indra 500's little brother. And the reason I decided to go this route is because this light uses a little bit smaller battery pack, which actually looks like this. So it's very, very small, very light. And I actually prefer this light to the 500 because of that. I'll swap these cables around. So yeah, this one still connects up the same way the Indra 500 did. Very, very small, compact system. But on the Profoto B1, our battery pack is over here. And so this is one of the biggest things that people kept on asking me about on this light. I've heard Profoto B1 so many times I've just gotten tired of hearing the name, honestly. But yeah, that's the biggest thing about this light, is that the battery is self-contained and goes directly on the light, makes things a lot more compact. For a lot of people, this is something that people either seem to love or hate, I notice. A lot of people really think this is the most awesome thing, but seems to be almost as many people that don't like the size and weight of this light because, well, it has a battery on the side of it. Personally, I actually don't care either way. You know, a lot of the shooting that I do is, still in studio as well. Although I will say not having a cable is a very, very nice thing. Taking a look at this light, whenever we power it on here, it's very, very easy to use. There's very minimal buttons. It has a very large and easy to read LCD screen. I am going to be doing a kind of a more detailed comparison between this light and the Indra lights in a future video, but I'm just going to kind of, there's a couple things I want to show you between the two today. This light changes power in 10th stop increments, and on Profoto, their lowest power setting, which on this light is equal to 1/256th, is actually measured, or actually read out as a 2, and the full power of this light is a 10, like that. You can see this light has a modeling light that can be set to be proportional to the flash output, which is very nice. The modeling light is also a lot brighter on this light than the Phottix lights. So yeah, you can see our modeling light brightness is much higher on the Profoto. So if you're going to be working in studio as well, you've got a lot of advantage there. There's not a whole lot of interface on this light. There's not a whole lot of things that you really have to know, which is awesome. A lot of the control is done from the air remote. You have different individual groups for each light that you're working with, and you can easily change things here. I finally see why a lot of people were thrown off on the Phottix unit. They were expecting the Phottix light to actually change whenever you change the power setting on the transmitter. On Profoto, it does do that. So as you make power changes on the transmitter, those changes reflect on the back of the light as well. And I've actually decided to make a separate video to talk about the transmitter. See, I'll turn that off so I don't belie the camera. There we go. So, in terms of build quality, a lot of people talk about the build of this light, and it's a very, very well built light. The biggest thing about it's so well built that I tightened it down. I guess we wouldn't want a $2,000 light falling off a stand. The nice thing about the build on this light is that it feels very, very solid. It does weigh about 6 pounds, which, considering that it has a battery built onto it, is not a whole lot in my opinion. The biggest thing about this light is that, we have a recessed type flash tube and modeling light. So as you mount different modifiers on this light, you don't really run the risk of bumping against the front of the light. The Phottix light overall is very durable as well, but its Achilles heel is this big glass dome on the end. So every time you mount a different modifier, you run the risk of hitting that and damaging something. So I do like having it all recessed on the Profoto. Profoto's system has a lot of modifiers. And because this is Profoto we're talking about, I have all sorts of marketing materials to show me all their lovely products that I can lust after, which is both good and bad. So we've got lots of options for modifiers. They have lots and lots of different softboxes and umbrellas and such to choose from. And their mounting system is very nice also because the speed ring actually slides around the end of the light, and you can actually choose how close or how far away you can mount it from the flash tube. So that can give you different effects with different types of reflectors and such. So pretty cool setup there. In looking at these lights, a lot of people keep asking me, is it really worth the extra $1,000 to go up to something like the B1? And really, I have to say, it really depends on your personal preference. I do see a lot of advantages to this light, the mounting system, the build quality. The biggest thing that I was not expecting was the difference in recycle time. I'm used to having a little bit longer recycle time with battery operated lights. This light, even when at full power, is very quick to recycle. If you're shooting it at a quarter power, it's practically instantaneous. I found that on the Phottix lights, after shooting them over a greater period of time, the thing that I've seen as an advantage is the recycle time. At a quarter power, it still takes quite a while to recycle. So if you're doing like fashion or something like that where you're trying to catch the movement of a model's dress, it's a lot more difficult to be able to do that with this light, and that is a problem that I had. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to testing this out in the studio where I'm dealing with those types of action situations. I feel like this light's going to be a really, really big asset in that area. On the Phottix lights, I actually have since bought the AC adapter as well. And that AC adapter does mitigate some of the recycle time issues that I personally was experiencing prior. So you'll notice that with the AC adapter plugged in here, now it's much, much faster recycling at a quarter power. Even at full, which I never shoot this over a quarter power, by the way. Even at full now, it recycles fairly quickly, so that solves that issue. But frankly, with the B1, I don't see a whole lot of a need for an AC adapter. It would be a nice option, but given the fact that the recycle time is so fast already, I don't really see it being a big issue. Profoto says that you will get up to about 220 shots at full power, but at low power they say you will get 50,000 shots, which, anyways, I haven't tested that claim yet. But yeah, if you're using this for outdoor field flash and things like that, even if you don't get 50,000, you should get plenty of shots on one battery charge. In the future, whenever we do this test, of course, I'll have more data to provide about that. I did do a test to see how these lights compare in their consistency, and that's another area where I feel like that extra $1,000 for the Profoto comes in mind. Yeah, I mean, I shot at the lowest power setting all the way up to the highest setting On the Indra lights, I was getting kind of a greenish color tint at the lowest power setting, and as I kept going up, I started to get kind of a red cast to the photographs. But with this, the color temperature was very, very consistent. So anyways, it was actually so consistent that I ran the test 2 more times, and I even ran the test where I let the Indra light warm up. I fired several shots at full power to get it up to temperature, and then I just turned the Profoto light on cold and, did it, and the Profoto still came out way ahead in terms of color consistency. So yeah, there's definitely that too. So for me, now I'm a little bit confused, honestly. I definitely see a lot of advantages to this light that I didn't think I was going to see. The consistency with Profoto gear, I've always heard it's very, very good, but I was not expecting it to be quite that good. And I also was not expecting the recycle time to be so good, even though it's a battery-powered strobe. So that's something else that's got me considering things. One of my friends said that Profoto is kind of the Apple of lighting, and it is true that they spend a lot on their marketing and such, but they certainly have a very solid product to back it up. So I can definitely say that extra $1,000 over the Indra lights, it's getting you much faster recycle times, it's getting you a much better modeling light, it's getting you much greater color consistency. And all in all, I think this is a much more versatile solution because with things like the brighter modeling light and such, you can use this as a more viable studio light and also a very good light on location. The Indra lights are very, very good. This is Profoto's first generation, very serious light that they've made, and Profoto has been making studio flashes since the 60s, so I still think that the Indra is a very, very good light considering. But there's an advantage to having a little bit more know-how in this area of making studio strobes, and so Profoto gets the edge there. I don't think this light is overpriced at all. A lot of people I know have said, well, Profoto spent all this money on their marketing and such, and that's why their lights are so expensive. But I would say that definitely the extra features you get, that probably accounts for 90% of the difference in cost, is actually the quality of the light. The other 10%, well, the other 10% probably bought me this t-shirt. But still, I think the cost is well worth it if you want to be able to get something that's going to be very consistent and reliable and something that you can use for many years to come. Until next time, guys, if you have any questions, write me in the comments below. I'm curious to know what type of testing you'd like me to do. Obviously, I'm going to be doing some testing with some models because that's kind of my thing. But if there's anything else you want to know about this light, feel free to write me in the comments below. I'd be glad to see what I can do in terms of coming up with a video to answer your question. Until next time, guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is Jeremy Smith, signing off.